please? Here's to another year. Now do you believe? Lost some friends and some family we love. Don't let it get you down tonight, but then we raise it up. Hands in the air like you trying to touch the ceiling. Champagne for everyone. Tonight we got the feeling. Made it through the holidays. Now we back to hustling. Family versus finance. Getting tired of juggling. Ain't better than nobody. I just went and climbed the ladder. So hi, buddies, haters. It just sound like chitter chatter. Staring at the calendar. Tired of being amateur. Looking in the mirror. Time to face the biggest challenger. Life is crazy. Ain't no telling when it all stops. Do it now. Don't wait until the ball drops. Nothing is promised. Don't nobody owe you nothing. December 31st, better go and get you something.
Yeah, it's a new day. It's a new chance for us to find our way. It's a new year. It's a new day. We're starting it over. Starting the day.
This year I'm thinking bigger than the money. I'm trying to get something that you can't take from me. Trying to stay clear of the haters and the dummies. Got you eating salad, trying to get rid of your tummy. And you ain't gotta wait to lose weight. It don't cost a thing to have faith. So I would like to propose a toast to everyone I knew at any point we were close. Love is love, still got you in my heart. You know how life goes, people drift apart. No hard feelings, everything in cycles. I'm living my life like I don't have any rivals. Last year brought a whole lot of challenges. Got a little wiser and we learning how to handle it. How to balance it, balancing is what life is. Trying to straighten up and finally give up the vices.
Yeah, it's a new day. It's a new chance for us to find our way. It's a new year. It's a new day. We're starting it over. Starting the day.
Yeah, I know it get hard out here sometimes and you feel like giving up, but if you woke up this morning, that means you got a chance and you need to do something with it. Licking shots in the air cause we made it. Waving shots in the air cause we faded. Life beat you down, got you a little jaded. Thought you found your soulmate, now you're separated. Rolling up your sleeves and making the resolution.
She do it all night. She going hard right. She loves spotlight. She make that thing go. Drip, drop, drip, drippity drop, drip, drop.
Hey, welcome back to the Doug Stewart Show. Happy Monday to you. All right, the number to the show is 404-822-5467. And on today's episode, man, we are paying tribute to the movie Malcolm X, which I got these little fun facts and trivia little things about it, man. The speech that plays over the documentary footage of Malcolm X's life near the end is read by Ozzie Davis, who wrote and delivered the eulogy at Malcolm's funeral service in 1965 in real life. That's pretty deep. So Spike Lee, man, really went deep on this with a lot of the content and the contributors to the movie. Speaking of which, when Malcolm X first preaches on the streets of Harlem, the other preachers on step ladders are Bobby Seale, founder of the Black Panthers, and Al Sharpton. That's some deep stuff right there, too. Yeah, so real deep stuff, man. The number to the show is 404-822-5467. That is the number to the show. Today is a Man Talk Monday, and we also give out ballers and busters from the weekend. We're kind of going to run through the league in the NFL and kind of give you some highlights and little tidbits about each of the games from this past weekend a little bit later on today's show. But our weekly installment of Colin Kaepernick's social injustice talk, where it applies the sports, comes out of New York, man. A former New York City police officer who claims of police corruption in the 70s were chronicled in the Al Pacino movie joined dozens of current and former officers Saturday at a rally in New York City to support quarterback Colin Kaepernick. Yeah. Right. The gathering in Brooklyn featured about 75 mostly minority officers wearing black T-shirts reading #ImWithCap. One exception was retired officer Frank Serpico. Remember the movie Serpico from back in the day? You may not if you're a greenhorn. Whose exploits were featured in the 1973 film Serpico once again. Sergeant Edwin Raymond, who said he was heading to work after the rally, spoke of the need for racial healing in this country. Here's a quote from him. Until racism in America is no longer taboo, we own, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, up to it. We admit it, we understand it, and then we do what we have to do to solve it. Unfortunately, we're going to have this issue, he said. And so, shouts out and ball award to the New York City Police Department and these particular officers, past and present, that came forward with this, man. Yeah. And this kind of ties into what's going on in the NFL with these players, and now you see some white players, Chris Long. You see Derek Carr actually put his hand on the shoulder of his teammate Khalil Mack this past weekend. Like, this isn't just, it seems like it is. And the way it's being portrayed in the narrative seems like it's all a black issue. I heard somebody say it this weekend. I can't remember who it was. This is an American issue. We're Americans. We're black, but we're Americans. If you're okay, with what's been going on over the last couple of years and these different stories of police brutality and killing unarmed black men, then you're wrong. Like, this has nothing to do with, generally, being black. It's a black issue, number one, first and foremost, but it should be an American issue. And so white players should get involved, and, people that are part of law enforcement, like these officers in New York, should get involved with this protest to try to, bring about change. So I commend these officers, man, and real good stuff, real powerful statement. If the police says there's a problem, then there's a problem. It's as simple as that, man. So ball award to these officers on Monday. Yeah. And as I mentioned, Raider quarterback Derek Carr placed his right hand on defensive end Khalil Mack's left shoulder on a show of solidarity during the national anthem before the team's 24-21 exhibition loss to the Rams on Saturday night. Raiders rookie safety Shalom Lunai also took a knee at the beginning of the anthem and then stood before the song ended. He said he was merely praying and it was not meant as a protest. And Khalil Mack actually stood. He didn't not stand during the anthem. And this young guy, Shalom Lanai, talked about, this wasn't a protest. So I don't know how I feel about guys protesting but not really protesting. Marshawn Lynch hadn't really spoken out about his stance or actually his sitting for the national anthem for these first two games that the Raiders have had this year. And Khalil Mack actually is still standing, and Shalom Lanai once again is on a knee, but he's saying it's not really a protest. So these guys, they want to, I think, show support for Kaepernick and for the anthem protest, but they're just scared, man. Like, it clearly, these NFL players, man, I don't know who's talking to them, whether it's their agents or their managers, man, just fear like they're not going to be able to get any type of advertisement deal, any type of endorsements or anything like that, man. So these guys, I have to believe that a lot of these guys, man, understand what this whole thing is about and understand the wide range effect of what this could be if we're able to get some type of change or whatever, man, in this country towards social injustice. But these dudes are just scared, man. They're scared, and they feel like they're going to be blackballed and they're not going to get, another deal when they become free agents. I think they think there's a lot of things that can come from this negatively. And I wish that weren't the case, man. But these dudes, man, they halfway in, they halfway out. It's almost like when I hear these types of stories of these guys saying, well, I'm doing this, but I'm not actually protesting. Well, I'm doing this, but it's not about me protesting. I don't have any problems with so-and-so or this entity or that entity. It's almost like if you ain't with me, you against me. That's kind of like what it feels like, but I don't want to go that far because they're their own people and they got to make their own decisions. But I just wish they would understand the power that they have, man, if they would come together as a group, as a unit. Like all of them, 100% are all the black players, But all the white players, period, all the players in the NFL, period, if they could come together and talk about the actual reasoning for why Colin Kaepernick started this protest, man, I think they would. They don't understand that nothing would happen. They're not going to fire all of these guys. They're not going to, cut all these players in the NFL if they actually came together. But then at the same time, a lot of these guys don't believe in the protest. A lot of these guys don't support not standing for the anthem, man. So it's a very convoluted situation. But shouts out to the New York Police Department, man, and the people that are trying to make some type of stance and help out in the protest for social injustice in this country. Yeah. For Redland Kirk in the chat on Spreaker.com, he says, "Hey, Doug, for those players that you say are halfway in and halfway out, remember we have to crawl before we can walk." And you're exactly right. And I didn't mean to come off like I was criticizing them, but at the end of the day, I wish is these guys would go all in, and support each other, because it's much bigger than just them. It's much bigger than, what their disagreements are with the police department in these countries and police in these countries and police brutality. It's about, maybe your child, maybe your kids, maybe a family member or whatever, man. Squeaky wheel gets to all. And I've said all of this stuff over the last couple of weeks, and every time I get back into talking about this, I basically repeat the same things that I've been saying for many, many months. But I just wish these guys would understand the power that they have, man. From that ninja, Dick Gregory needs a whole segment, especially if he got to hear this irrelevant Laker talk. From Grego, you guys have shows. I think Dick Gregory's segment on your shows should be considered. From Andre Elam, Grego, laugh out loud. From Grego says, "Can we talk McCaffrey?" You know what, man? We're about to run through the league here in a second for these little preseason games from this past weekend. And we will talk about Christian McCaffrey, who got a touchdown this weekend, a rushing touchdown this weekend. We will talk about him. Yeah, hold your horses. We will talk about him. Yeah. We'll definitely do that. Amongst all the other games. We're not going to focus. We're not going to stay on Christian McCaffrey getting a little stinky preseason touchdown. But we will talk about it. All right? Speaking of which, more NFL talk coming back. One of the best to ever do it shut it down this weekend. So we'll talk about that, and we'll get into some Falcon talk as well on the Doug Stewart Show. All right, so we just did an hour, man. We're 15 minutes behind after starting the show 15 minutes late today. Yeah. Right. So we'll talk about some football stuff and attack McKinley, who has his first minutes in the NFL this year, although it was a preseason game. But attack McKinley, defensive end for the Falcons, man. He might be a problem this year for opposing teams. We'll get into that up next on the Doug Stewart Show. Don't go away. Man Talk, Movie Monday. Don't go away.